This will be a demonstration of a build that should be used much more often. You're gonna look at what flying and Fritz do. So Fritz and ASF flying on the rock, and Christian here on the beach, and Colin here for this air. They got a pretty nice middle for Lame God. It's gonna go against Firefox. It's gonna be a little mass advantage in terms of how much they get, how much the top team gets in the middle from Lame God. And here we have a Plesia versus Kribaka. So pretty good players all around. Collins is a very good player. Not really known for his Setons, but a very good player on other maps. So what usually happens, especially lately on Setons, is that the back players are left alone for like the first 10 minutes and nobody touches them. And that's really annoying because it makes the game slow. But in this game, Flying and Fritz decide to basically counter that with a really nice strat. So we see here we have Flying, he's got UEF, Fritz has Aeon, you have Christian with Cybern, and Cybern for Colin. Let me speed this up. So the first thing you see from Flying, he gets his factory. He's doing pretty good. He's kind of left his rocks sitting. He's probably going to get him a little later. Most likely the next Denji. So yeah, whenever you're playing rock, you got to get those. And you can see right away he begins upgrading his T1 factory. And he has pretty good power already. He's going to build more power. So this does take about 6 P-gens just to run this upgrade. But what this means is that he can get T2 bombers very early. And to couple that with the fact that Fritz, well, he's just doing a standard air build. But he won't be doing one of the builds where you get your ASF at about 12 minutes. He'll be doing a much faster one. And if we look, so one thing that Flying kind of sacrifices is this island, which Christian, he does scout and he should see there's nothing there, and he does have a transport with some NGs and guns, but he chooses not to go to the island but actually directly to the mainland here. And you see his scout sees there's absolutely no T1 air from Flying, and if he doesn't see that this is T2, which you probably already saw, he probably feels pretty safe in terms of dropping. So he's got his first T2 bomber at 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes. And this is a good weapon to take care of this drop, which Flying will. And he's also moving his ACU here to stop the progress of the Mantis. It's really not a lot of T1 air, which is a weakness. He probably should have another factory spamming T1 air. Now this T1 air is going to come in. He's going to go against these T2 bombers. And if we look at Fritz, he's at 6 minutes, he's already almost got his T3 air factory. He's got a pretty good build power on it. And to contrast that with Colin, he's actually pretty close to. He's just beginning to upgrade his T2 factory. So let's see what happens from the view of Colin the rest of this game. So you see in the distance there we have T1 air from Black. He really has pretty good domination of T1 air, but he lets 5 T2 bombers from UEF slip by. This is minute almost 8. And these are going to go directly to Colin's base. And you can see really good targets here. Power, if you get these early T2 power generators, it's really devastating to the economy. But you see his first target is T2 air factory. It's great to bomb it because it has much less health before you upgrade to T3. He's also hit some X's, the shield. And Colin really, the way to counter this build is really to have for both side players to be dominant in T1 air. But you see, as long as red Crib is basically dominating air here, or at least gets a tie here, and then yellow doesn't lose T1 air completely, and you can see all these T2 bombers just coming in, and ASF here. So even if Christian here had pretty good, better T1 air presence, he still would not be able to counter this very well, especially that UEF T2 bombers do have pretty good anti-air as well. And you can see this T3 air factory. It's a perfect target because it takes so long to rebuild it. has just been destroyed. So Collins basically out of luck in terms of air, because these ASF, in order for him to produce these, he needs to put in a lot of time. He does his T2 flak, which he built, which will kill a lot of these bombers, but this is really a position from which you cannot come back. And it's a pretty simple build. It could be countered with massive amounts of T1 air, but that counter becomes weaker and weaker as long as both of your side players are on the same page and you have very fast ASF. So you can basically dominate T1 air, and then ASF comes in with these T2 bombers taking out this factory. So like as with any builds, if you get scouted and they find out, they can get ready for it. And you can see that even though flying gave up basically Navy, the fact that they have air, he can really counter the Navy pretty easily with his torp bombers, because he's got what he's actually basically has. Well, now he's getting his T2 factory to T3. He basically had a lot of build power directly on. And you see here his T2 PGens, which he got from a engineer that he built it in T2 factory. So this is basically no way back for this team here for Kola, Christian, and Lame. And you see here Lame actually also is getting pushed back by Firefox, so well played by Firefox. So I hope this was informative, and I hope people do this type of stuff much more often, because people have kind of really got used to having really big safety in the back, and it really takes teamwork to kill the safety for the back player. You can't just go in alone without having the rest of your teammates provide support, because those T2 bombers are quite vulnerable versus T1 air. Alright, so that'll be the end of this one.